it began as an exercise. You see, Niall had caught the lead role for A Streetcar Named Flyer, an avant-garde retelling of A Streetcar Named Desire, set in Edinburgh, about flyers. Niall's character, the flyer, would go through this descent into madness. Ironically, of course, that is the role that would prompt his descent into madness.
Mr. Moorjani did for acting what Gandhi did for dieting.
He went through a dark period. He slept around a lot. You know, not just women, men, all stages, really. It was the whole spectrum. Almost admirable, really. And then, of course, there were all the different nationalities.
Where to begin? I've had Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Thai, Malaysian, Kurdish, Turkish. It's quite a small area on a map when you look at it. It's amazing the variety they produce for that. Very saucy too. I've had Lebanese, I've had English, Scottish, American.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you there. Are you ever worried about STDs?
No, God no, God no. Those are just the food stalls I've eaten at the Fringe. You need an atlas to work out the people I've been with. A big fucking atlas. This is my big fucking atlas.
Yes, he was a visionary, a maverick. Some would say a prophet. I don't know if that's true.
This is quite a fantastic book. You never know when you might need your big fucking atlas. In here, I have names, dates, coordinates. Ho ho! There are some corkers. Look, Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, Alistair Darling. I really got through a new Labour phase. It was an odd one. Oh, that was a dark day.
Oh, if I had to sum Niall up in 3 words, those words would be a nice man. He's really nice, and he's not a woman, and nor is he the man. That's Chuck Norris.
Emma Stone, indeed. The Emma Stone. Sharon Stone, that wasn't so fun. Richard Iowati, I forget about that. Blonde prostitute A, blonde prostitute B, dark-haired prostitute number 86.
The man was a legend.
Why, Delilah. Funny story there. Actually, Y and Y were adopted twins. Delilah was the later born child. They didn't think they could have children.
The sexual escapades. Was it ever a problem?
Well, I used to watch. Not so bad.
Could have done with a bit more leverage. I always found.
Yes.
Tom Selleck, Tom Cruise, Toby Jones, Mike Jones, Tim Jones, James Jones, James Joyce. I'm lying, I didn't sleep with James Joyce.
Yeah, used to cry a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
The phrase 2 for 1 as well. It's very off-putting when you're trying to get something done. You know what I'm talking about.
And vocally, if you cry while you're saying 2 for 1, it just comes out 2 for 1. Oh, it's horrible to hear.
2 for 1 simply is, well, it's what he was shouting a lot during intercourse. And during climax, he was shouting come. I assume this was obviously referring to ejaculation. But then he handed me for a flyer for a show at 10 and fucked off. I had to wipe myself off into a tea flannel.
Does the phrase 2 for 1 ring a bell in reference to Niall?
I mean, I suppose I've heard him say it a few times when flyering.
Did he mention it in any other circumstances but flyering?
That's really. I can't say.
2 for 1. That was weird.
Then, of course, there were all the other partners that he brought into the studio, and I mean, they didn't get in the way so much. I found. I mean,
No. You'd say, "Excuse me," and they'd move.
we use them as props occasionally.
Yes.
Speaking to other flyers, they all seem to have a massive admiration for your flying techniques. Is that something you'd want to go into?
Oh, well. I suppose it comes down to that Russian doll theory again that we've spoken about. And, there's no real end to them, but I have some favourites, of course. It's been years in the making and development, and, well, there are a few set favourites. There is, of course, my personal favourite, the Mime Gremlin. Then there's the hard sell.
Fucking go. Fucking go. Fucking
Yeah,
go.
all right, mate, all right.
Thank you so much, mate. The show's on at 10 p.m. Fucking go.
My not at all, as he has been called, racist Italian-friendly man. And of course, there's my charming Irishman.
It doesn't really matter what you say, and you could say anything as long as it's in an Irish accent. Haberdasher, Guinness, and that's almost on point. Paleontology. I love maps.
The list can go on and on, but I suppose the only way to really finish is with the bin surprise.
You're just doing a show, my man. Touchdown.
He doesn't really act. He becomes.
He was a dangerous man to work with. He'd spend several days practicing stage fighting for no apparent reason. He had no roles which required any sort of combative elements, and yet there it was. He was hitting walls, and he had a knife made out of frozen ticket stubs once. He called it method.
Yes. William?
Well, the thing about the fighting was it was really weird stuff as well. He wasn't just, that knife. He wasn't just stabbing. He was gutting. He went through the whole process of disemboweling his invisible victim. And actually, there was a lot of damage to the walls. I did not get my deposit back on that apartment.
No.
No. You've heard of paper cuts, and that's what these were.
Hello. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to teach you a lesson. Now, these things are about to... Our fighter at Bristow, and in the Pleasance. Our fighter at the Royal Mile, and at the castle. At the underbelly and the underbelly. I will never surrender, and so few will never say that so...
Yes, indeed, there is conflict. Conflict the likes of which you have never seen. I shan't talk about the paid fringe versus the free fringe. Shit is too intense with that. 2 people died last year. Granted, that was in a car accident which had nothing to do with it, but the fighting is so intense. You haven't even the half of it if you go into the street team wars. My goodness. PBJ are constantly at battle with Get Comedy. So Comedy fight with Avalon tooth and nail for every patch in Bristow Square. Oh, it's a terrifying thing. If you took the lanyards you get, your passes to Pleasance and Assembly, down to Iraq, they would worship you as a war hero.
In many ways, he's like the length of fabric being pulled along the snaggy nail of life.
In many ways, Niall was like the new Ocean's 11 crawling over the old Ocean's 11, and they'd grown their fingernails out really, really long, so it was quite itchy.
The things these eyes have seen. So much blood mingled with fire on cold cobbles. Freezes the soul.
Yes, well, it's not real maths, is it? It should go 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1. It's just a load of shit. It's not real. 2, 4... I mean, I appreciate as much as the next man that there's more to maths than counting, but I can't... It's not multiplication. I mean, it might be calculus. I don't know what calculus is. Is it calculus?